Welcome to this session. So myself Dr. K. Sivanandam, Associate Professor from Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, M. Kumarasamy College of Engineering, Kharur. In this session, we are going to discuss generation of FM in analog communication subject. There are two methods of generation of FM wave. So one is direct method, another one is indirect method. So in the direct method, there is classified into two categories. One is reactance modulator, another one is varactor diode. So in the another method, indirect method, the method is Armstrong method. So in the direct method, the FM generation is changed with the instantaneous frequency of the carrier is changed directly in proportional with the message signal. So the message signal may be information signal or baseband signal. In the direct method, reactance modulator and varactor diode modulators are used to generate the FM signal. In this reactance modulator, the transistor or FET is operated as variable resistance. The variable resistance may be inductive or capacitive. If inductive or capacitive of the tuned circuit of the oscillator is changed in proportion with the amplitude of the modulated signal, then FM can be obtained across the tuned circuit. Next, principles of reactance modulator. In the direct FM generation method, the instantaneous frequency of the carrier is changed directly in proportion with the message signal. For this, a device called voltage control oscillator is utilized. The voltage control oscillator can be implemented by using sinusoidal oscillator with a tuned circuit having value of high quality factor. The frequency of the voltage control oscillator is changed by incremental variation in the reactive components. So the reactive components utilized in this circuit are inductor and capacitor. If inductor or capacitor of tuned circuit of the oscillator is changed in accordance with the amplitude of the modulating signal, then FM can be obtained across the tuned circuit as we discussed earlier. The FM wave is fed into the tuned circuit, that is oscillator tuned circuit. The tuned circuit consists of inductor and capacitor. The variable reactance device or the modulating signal is taken across the tuned circuit. Next one is varactor diode modulator. This is the semiconductor diode whose junction capacitor varies linearly with the applied bias. The varactor diode must be reverse bias. This is the important one. So we need to apply the reverse bias in the varactor diode. Next we go for working operation of the varactor diode modulator. So as we discussed earlier, so in this circuit consists of tuned circuit, we need to apply the negative bias. Look into this circuit. The varactor diode is reverse biased by the negative DC source. The notation is noted as VB. So the indication of the negative bias is represented by negative sign, that is minus VB. The modulating AF voltage appears in series with the negative supply voltage. The applied voltage across the varactor diode varies in proportion with the modulating wave. It will vary the junction capacitance of the varactor diode. The varactor diode and the tuned circuit are in parallel. Therefore, the oscillator frequency will change with respect to the change in the varactor diode capacitance. So here the capacitance values are going to change, therefore the frequency also change with respect to the capacitance of the varietal diode. Finally, the FM wave is produced across the tuned circuit. So next we are going to discuss advantages which is present in this varietal diode. The design of the modulator circuit is very simple, cost also less. So usually as a design engineers we need to focus how to reduce the complexity which is present in the circuit, and also we need to focus how to reduce the cost because of in real world competition. So all the vendors looking how to reduce the complexity which is present in the circuit design, and also how to reduce the making cost in the each and every device. So that as a design engineer we need to consider complexity as well as cost of the device. So next, the limitation of the direct method. Say it is not easy to get high order stability in a carrier frequency because of LC oscillator circuits. The baseband signal directly controls the tan circuit of the carrier generator. Therefore, the stability of the oscillator circuit cannot be used. The carrier generation cannot be high stability. So these are the limitations which is present in the direct method. Because of the LC oscillator circuit can't able to control, therefore the stability is not utilize the entire range of frequency. To overcome these limitations, the design engineers developed an indirect method named as Armstrong method. So in this method, the FM is obtained through phase modulation. In a phase modulator, the carrier is shifted in phase in accordance with the modulating signal. The LC oscillator is replaced by the crystal oscillator. Therefore, the frequency stability is very high. This is the overall block diagram of Armstrong method. So this block diagram consists of two categories. One is phase modulator, another one is transmitting antenna section. So in this phase modulator section, the crystal oscillator block is present. After that, the buffer, 90-degree phase shifter, then integrator equalizer, product modulator, then summation unit. So as we discussed earlier, so in the indirect method, so the LC oscillator is replaced by the crystal oscillator. So one of the limitations which is present in the direct method is stability. The stability is not able to maintain because of LC tuned circuit which is present in the direct method. So majorly here the LC oscillator circuit is replaced by the crystal oscillator, so which is used to generate the carrier signal. Then the 90-degree phase shifter is used to shift the carrier signal by 90 degree. Therefore the summation unit sum up the direct carrier signal and the 90-degree phase shifted version of the signal. The input signal, that is modulating signal or baseband signal or information signal, is fed into the integrator equalizer. Then output of the block is equalized modulating signal. The equalized modulating signal is fed into the product modulator. So it produces the sideband signal. It consists of only one sideband which is fed into the summation block. The output of the summation block is narrowband FM wave. The narrowband FM wave is fed into the multipliers and mixer. Finally, the signal is transmitted through the antenna. So next one is demodulation. What is demodulation? So demodulation is the act of extracting the original information signal from the modulated carrier wave. The demodulator is an electronic circuit used to recover the information content from the modulated carrier wave. So in general, in the communications, we are going to transfer our information signal over the long distance. So our audio signal or video signal frequency is lower, so that directly we can't able to transfer our information signal through the medium. So the technology or method called modulator, which is used to modulate our information signal with respect to the carrier signal, it takes over the long distance. In the receiver signal, we are going to receive the modulator signal, which consists of carrier as well as information. We need to extract our original information signal from the modulator signal. That means that we need to eliminate the carrier wave or carrier signal which is present in the modulated wave. So the demodulated signal is present in the receiver section. So we need to effectively demodulate our original information signal, because during the transmission the noise may be added with our modulator signal, so that we need to focus demodulation section also. What is the FM demodulator? An electronic circuit in which frequency variations of the modulated signal are converted to amplitude variations with the help of tuned circuit. After that, the original information is extracted with the AM demodulation techniques. Next, we are going to discuss type of FM demodulation. So the FM demodulation techniques is majorly classified into two categories. One is direct, another one is indirect. In the indirect method, the following types are present. One is slope detector, second one is balanced slope detector, third one is force Rayleigh phase discriminator, and final one is ratio detector. While looking to the indirect method, then method called as phase lock loop. So this block diagram shows that balanced slope detector. So in that slope detector, only one set of a diode, resistor and capacitor is present. So it also not effective one, so that to overcome the limitations which is present in this slope detector, the designers introduced a balanced slope detector. The balanced slope detector consists of two slope detector named as slope detector 1 and slope detector 2. So in that slope detector 1 and slope detector 2, across the capacitor and capacitor 1 and capacitor 2, we are going to take the voltage. The V1 is voltage across the capacitor 1, V2 is voltage across the capacitor 2. In the input section, the FM input signal is fed into the transformer. The transformer is transfer the received FM signal into the secondary section. The secondary section, it consists of tuned circuit, so that upper section there is a frequency range is above the cutoff frequency. It means that FC plus del F. In the lower section, the frequency is lesser than the cutoff frequency, that is FC minus del F. So based on the output and its voltage across the capacitor 1 and capacitor 2, the characteristics curve is look like this. If input D1 is less than input D2, the voltage is higher in the V2. It means that voltage across the capacitor 1 is lesser than the voltage across the capacitor 2. Therefore, the summation of the voltage gives in terms of negative. The entire output across the capacitor 1 and capacitor 2 is in terms of negative voltage. Therefore, the frequency lies between the Fc minus del F and Fc. It means that the frequency is lesser than the cutoff frequency. Then the curve is slightly increased in the negative side and reach into the zero position at cutoff frequency equal to F. It means that the input to the diode 1 and diode 2 are equal. Similarly, voltage across the capacitor 1 and voltage across the capacitor 2 is equal. But the sign is opposite, so therefore output voltage across the terminal C1 and C2 become 0. After this point, the voltage across the capacitor 1 is higher than the voltage across the capacitor 2. Therefore, the entire voltage, it means that voltage across the capacitor 1 and capacitor 2 become positive. While considering the frequency in this region is above the cutoff frequency. Therefore, the frequency lies between the Fc to Fc plus del F. Next, advantages and limitations which is present in this method. Advantages are: this circuit is more efficient than the simple slope detector. It has better linearity than the simple slope detector. Limitation: even though linearity is good, it is not enough. Second one, this circuit is difficult to tune since the 3 tuned circuits are to be tuned at different frequencies. And final one is amplitude limiting is not provided. Next we move to Foster-Cayley discriminator. So before entering, we are going to discuss advantages and limitations which is present in this method. This procedure is similar than balanced slope detector because it contains only two tuned circuits and both are tuned at same frequency. It provides better linearity because of the operation of circuit is dependent more on the primary to secondary phase relationship, which is very much linear. Next, limitations: it does not provide amplitude limiting, so in the presence of noise or any other spurious amplitude variation, the demodulator output responds to the and it produces error. So as we discussed earlier, so in nature, while transferring our modulating signal through the medium, consider air medium, some unwanted informations or unwanted signal may be present in the modulated signal, so that we can't able to extract our information exactly which is transferred in the transmitter signal. As a design engineers, we need to focus as much as possible. We need to extract our information and we need to reach out the 100%. It means that without errors. Another way we can say that error should be equivalent to 0. So this is the block diagram for Foster Seeley discriminator. So here the one of the tuned circuit is eliminated, so that here both tuned circuits are tuned at the same frequency. This is one of the advantages which is present in the Foster Seeley discriminator. And the capacitor 1 and capacitor 2 is connected as it is. Similarly, here in the input section, FM input is fed into the transformer. The transformer consists of primary and secondary. In the secondary section, the diode D1 and D2 is present. The characteristics curve is also similar to the balanced slope detector. So this is the graphical representation of phasor diagram. If Fn equal to F0, this shows that first one. Second one, F input is greater than F0. Third one is Fn lesser than F0. Next we move to ratio detector. It is similar to the Foster Seeley discriminator. The majorly three things differ. One is the direction of diode is reversed. A large capacitance is included in the circuit. The output is taken in different location. Advantages: it is easy to align. It produces good linearity due to linear phase relationship between primary and secondary. Then third one is amplitude limiting is provided inherently, hence additional limiter is not required in this ratio detector method. This is the circuit diagram. So in this ratio detector, so look into the diode D1 and D2, both are placed in the opposite direction. So this is the major difference which is present in the ratio detector. It also produces the same characteristics curve compared to the Foster Seeley discriminator. Next we move to the phase lock loop. The phase lock loop, when fed with the FM signal, directly produce an output signal that is proportional to the message signal. PLL has low cost and superior performance even at low signal to noise ratio. Now look into the phase lock loop. The phase lock loop is a device whose output is periodic signal synchronized in the phase with an input reference. So the phase lock loop consists of phase detector, low pass filter and voltage control oscillator. The voltage control oscillator that produces a periodic waveform with a frequency that may be varied around free running frequency. It means that voltage control oscillator frequency V2 of t equal to 0. Next one is phase detector. The output is a function of phase difference between the incoming signal and output signal V of t. PLL has two modes. One is narrow band mode, another one is wideband mode. In the narrow band mode, it tracks the average frequency of input, that is V in of t. Second one is wideband mode. It tracks the instantaneous frequency of the V in of t. Next one is log. When the phase log log the frequency. When the PLL tracks the frequency of V in of t, it holds the frequency, then hold in range. When the PLL is in log, the range of frequency of V in of t to remain in log, also called the log range. Next, pull in range. When PLL is not in log, the average of frequency of Vn of t to a capture log, also called the capture range. Next one is maximum log to sweep range. When the PLL is in log, the maximum rate of change of frequency of Vn of t to remain in log. A PLL can be made in analog or in digital cycle. It have two categories. One is analog PLL, another one is digital PLL. Next we move for performance comparison of FM demodulators. So first one, alignment and tuning. We are going to discuss the comparisons between the balanced slope detector, Foster-Seeley discriminator, ratio detector. First parameter is alignment or timing. In the balanced slope detector, critical because of 3 cycles are to be tuned at different frequencies. In the Foster-Seeley discriminator, there is no critical, as so in the ratio detector also no critical because of the 3 tuned circuit is reduced into 2. Also the frequency is tuned at the same frequency. Second parameter, output characteristics. In the balanced slope detector, primary and secondary frequency is relationship. In the Foster-Seeley discriminator, primary and secondary are phase relationship. Similarly, in the ratio detector, primary and secondary are phase relationship. And third parameter, linearity of the output characteristics. In the balanced slope detector, the linearity is very poor, but in the Foster-Seeley discriminator, the linearity is very good. While looking to the ratio detector, the linearity property is acceptable, that is good. Fourth parameter, amplitude limiting. In the balanced slope detector, amplitude limiting is not available. In the Foster-Seeley discriminator also, the amplitude limiting is not provided inherently, but in the ratio detector, the amplitude limiting is provided. Next, fifth one is amplifications. Practically, the balanced slope detector is not utilizing. While considering the Foster-Seeley discriminator, it is utilized in the FM radio, satellite station, etc. The ratio detector is utilized in TV receiver sound section and also in the narrowband FM receiver. These are all overall applications. First one is radio broadcasting. Second one, two-way mobile radio communication. Third one, microwave communication. Fourth one, TV sound transmission. And next one is cellular radio communication. And final one is satellite communication. These are all the overall application of the FM demodulation. Thank you very much for this session.